This is sort of a follow-up to my last Unity video. I'll have a link in the description. And what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about blend shapes, blend shape proxies. So I'm going to walk you through how to work with your blend shapes while you're packaging them as a VRM. This should be applicable to all CC4 and all Daz creators. Might be useful otherwise, but that's who it's targeted at. And let's just get into it, shall we? Okay, so here's how it works. When it comes to Unity and VRMs, it doesn't work on the blend shapes themselves. There's an extra layer, sort of a script, that sits on top of that. That's what you have to export and re-import and work on. So I'm going to walk you through that process and how to do it. So right now I have this lovely, beautiful model. Isn't she cute? Her name is 72222. She's super cute. But even though she has all her blend shapes, here, let me show you. She can't quite talk yet. This one is a CC4 model, but I will walk you through the difference between CC4 models and Daz characters as we get into this. Okay, so this one has not yet been exported as a VRM, so the only script she has attached to her is the main avatar, and that is this funny little thing right here. We can configure that. The first thing we want to do, absolutely positively, is make sure that her jawbone is not linked. Just trust me on that. You do not want to have a linked jawbone when you make one of these. She will have a bad case of the wah-wahs. So we hit apply, and now we wait. Okay, so now that we have our settings applied, we're good to go. Just one thing though, as far as this whole setup goes. If you've never done this before and you're new to Unity, and all of the bones are green, that means that the rig for the model is correct and it's working. You should have green bones on all of the essential bones that you need to make up the mechanism rig. The mechanism rig is the technical term for what the rig in Unity is called. Anyway, once this is applied, click done. And now we're back in our project. Before you export again as a VRM, what you want to do is make sure that the avatar, in this case main avatar, the one created in the system, is linked up. And now we are going to click on Vrm Export. And what you do here is not important, because this is going to make a file that we're going to be required to edit later. And I am going to go ahead, just as a matter of simplicity, and export this to the root project directory. And now we wait. This could take anywhere between 3 and 35 minutes, so just relax, maybe get a cup of tea, whatever you need to do. And there we are. We have our pretty little model, and she has been exported as a VRM. But it's important to know that if at this point in the process you tried to run her in VC Face, like you probably have, we've all done that, her bones will move, but she will not be able to talk. And that's because we need to set up our blend shape proxy / blend shape avatar. Now let's get into that. What I'm going to do is create a new folder right here, and I am going to call this Vrm Import. I wish there was an easier way to go about this, but this is the most effective process. You click on Vrm 0 at the top of your screen, and then what you do is you go to your main VRM that you just exported, and you're going to get a second screen that pops up right away. Now this is super confusing. The second screen that pops up is actually asking you to save, not open. So you find your Vrm import directory, and then you save it as your main.prefab which it should make automatically. Here we go. And now it sits and thinks. Now that our happy little VRM is imported, go to Scenes, right-click, hopefully I find it, and create a scene. It does not matter at all what you call this, but I'm going to call this VRM Setup. Now we're going to click on that scene, and we're going to go into our assets, and then our VRM imports directory that we created, and we are going to pull main VRM, or main prefab, whatever the case may be, into the scene. Alright, so there's our girl. She looks good. The shading looks okay. All of this is still workable, by the way. So, but you will notice that now she has a bunch of scripts attached to her. There are two that you need to think about. One is the model, and we are going to call this the Critical Thought 3 model. Oopsie. And we are going to put our name in the thing if you haven't done that already. And we're going to check our avatar to make sure that it is our VRM avatar. And that should show up twice. Should show up in the humanoid description and the animator component. Next up is the blendshape proxy. You've got your buttons, and here you've got your reference. Personally, I find it a lot easier to turn that into a floating window, because this is the preview for what each shape looks like on your model, the way your model is at this moment. Don't worry if this window does not quite look like your actual finished model in the project. That's totally normal, expect it. So, brow inner up. Now, if you're using a Daz 4 model, you're going to have a different list than I do here. So here, for the main blend shape, I have CC base body, and if you're a Daz user, the one that's going to come up is Daz Genesis 8, and then the gender of your character. So if it's a female character, it'll be Daz Genesis 8 female, but it should work the same way. Theoretically, if you exported your head and your mouth morphs, they should all pop up on this list. And this is the list that's actually the important one. So click on your blend shape and go down until you find brow inner up, which is right there. And that shows up in your preview right there. Now we're going to do brow down left. And now we're going to do brow down right. Uh-oh. That's a problem. You see, her eyebrow moved, but her eyebrow ring did not. Let's go back to our list. So on our list, we have CC base body. We have CC base tier line. You might also have an eye occultation layer. I don't. I deleted mine. And then we have piercing 0 and piercing nose and hair blend shapes. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the down blend shape. Oopsie. And just adjust this to wherever I need it to be. These are your blend shape constraints. So if it goes to 100, theoretically, but you only need it to go to 10, then that's all you get. Or maybe 9. There you go. Alright, so brow down right, brow down left, cha-cha-cha. And that is how you layer your blend shapes. If we had our tier line, we would probably want to go here and do the same thing. So I always sort of lose track of what blend shape I'm in. So if we're in brow inner up, let's go down to our tier line. Yeah, you can hardly see it, but it's there and it does work. Tier line is actually super important. but it depends on how you're shading your model. If your tier lines are mostly transparent, you can usually get by without it. I like to be thorough for mine. So here's another example. Jaw open. Now, since I've got a CC4 character that I've flattened, I have a mouth open morph at the end. And as you can see, her mouth moves, but her ring does not. So, it's called a nose ring. It's not really a nose ring. There we go. But you see that created a different thing. So now we use the back blend shape to reposition that where it's supposed to be. Pretty cool. So now we go to neutral, and then we go to jaw open, and as you can see, everything is where it should be. This will save you hours and hours of headaches mixing blend shapes and getting them to animate separately. And I guess we could do oopsie. And from here, now that you understand how this works, I'm going to do a speed run through the process, and you're welcome to hang out and watch. One thing I do with these is, as I'm going through, I realized that the blend shapes on the CC4 characters can be very extreme. So when you're doing something like mouth stretch right or mouth stretch left, or all of them, you don't necessarily want all of that. You see that right there? Yeah, you don't want all of that. In fact, maybe 50% of it is going to be what you want if you've got a realistic looking model. But you're going to want to go through and tweak these settings. If you get to a point where you've made a model and she can talk, try to do a smile. And if that smile looks creepy, turn down your shapes. That's all you need to do. You don't have to resculpt anything. You just turn it right down. Some of these shapes only need to be at 30 or 40%. So that's the other thing to take into account when you're doing these. And the cool thing about VC Face is that it honors any constraints that you put in here. The other thing to remember about these models is that these are eye bone driven and not eye blend shape driven. So when it comes to things like eye lookout right and eye lookout left, you will get the skin movement, but not the actual eye movement itself from these models. Don't worry, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Eye blend shapes are a huge pain in the ass, and you should not have to deal with them if you don't have to. And now what I'm going to do is fix the piercings, because those are not correct most of the time. And now that we're done with this, we can dock that back in our inspector. At the top of our VRM, we select the VRM button, export VRM. Everything looks good. And we're going to overwrite the VRM that we made originally. click yes. Also, if you want to take a picture, this would be the place to do it. But this one doesn't need a picture because I make so many of these. And there we go. Let us open up VC Face. Now, we don't have this avatar on the list yet. So what we want to do is just load up our latest project, pull out our main VRM that we just created, load her up. Now, this is going to take a second because this is a higher poly model than VC Face is expecting, but it will work. So just wait for her to start spinning in the side thing over here. There we go. Look at our girl. She is so cute. All right. And now, oh wow, that's fun. Hang on. There we go. That's a lot better. As of now, we are in VC Face, and we are testing out our avatar. Hang on, I'm holding my mic, so I gotta move that. Oh, so much better. Okay, so a quick rundown on controls in VC Face. You hit Control to move it around with your right click. Control on your left click adjusts your lighting. That's so much better. You can also do additional settings with effects. You can color grade, like so. Adjust the temperature, adjust the saturation, adjust the brightness, and the contrast. You can also do things like halftone and bloom. Bloom's fun. I'm glowing. But anyway, I really, quite honestly, just use VC Face as a data transfer tool. So now let's do a quick zoom. We're gonna hit the Alt key, and now we're gonna zoom right in. There we go. We have made a VRM, and I think she looks pretty good overall, you know. But yeah, that's where we are. All right, so she's doing it again. I'm gonna have to go back and revisit why that happens. I think I've got an eyelash blend shape that is just not quite behaving, you know. Anyway, so that's our first option for testing. Now I am going to close VC Face, and we are going to go back. Display capture. All right, and now we're going to open up a second program. This right here is the best $5 you will ever freaking spend as a VTuber. It's called Vrm Pose Desktop, and it is a freaking godsend. Takes a second to boot up though. Alright, so as you can see, I've got a previous model hooked up. She's cute too. So what you want to do is change character. You want to load a VRM file. And then what you want to do is find your project directory and click on your VRM. Sort of the same deal with VC Face. These higher poly models, they really take a minute to load. So just wait for it to load, and then she should come in all nice and pretty. Look at that pretty. Oh my goodness. There she is. And you can do all sorts of fun stuff with this program. Like, if you wanted to, you could check out the different poses and move her around. You could even use this within Unity, so you don't actually have to do animators to move your model around. But we'll cover that some other time. Right now, what we really care about is just really checking to see if she moves properly. And we want to take a look at her blend shapes. All right, now check this out. It'll load your skinned mesh renderer, so you can adjust your blend shapes from there. It loads them all in one layer, so this is not the most reliable way to do it, but it does work. Ooh, cheek puff. It's kind of fun, and you can troubleshoot this way. You can mess with any part of your model, you can make any piece of it work. That's pretty much it. Oh no, I've got a bone issue with that color. I know what it is though, I can fix it. But not right now, we'll fix it later. Anyway, that is all, my babies, and I hope this has shown you how to work with blend shape proxies and how to mix blend shapes. I'll talk to you later.